Hi friends, Andrew Carruthers here, Education Director for Sam Villa. Today we want to talk a little bit about our challenging clients, those extra fine-haired ladies that want some layers, they want some texture, but they also want to keep density on the perimeter. It's a tough one, isn't it? So what really presents the greatest challenge when we're talking about this is the transition of density right here behind the ear, where the hairline changes from being much lower here, and then it starts to round up, and then change direction here right above the ear. Everything behind this, there's usually enough density to get some good layers and texture into the hair, but then when we hit this point, all of a sudden it feels like we can't go short enough here to give her the body, but also protect the density in the perimeter. So here's a little way that we've discovered that will help you out. First things first, we need to set up the hair with the proper product. For our fine-haired guests, we find that the One United is a nice spray because we can put it in and give them some conditioning benefits, but the Redken One United doesn't build up and get heavy where a lot of other leave-in conditioners do. Now, we want to add just a touch more protection to the hair, so we're also going to take a touch of Satinwear 04 and add it just to the very tips of the hair. That's going to give it a little added protection and keep it glossy and smooth as we go through the blow dry. So we're going to start the haircut in the back. And this makes sense because this is the area we have the most room to play with. And I've already cut her right side so that you'll see the matched up pieces in the end. So we're just going to take a pie-shaped section from the the high crown just behind the high point of the head. And we're going to take that down to the nape, down the center of the back of the head. Now, why do we take that section there? Well, because we want to really focus on the hair that's going to primarily live back here in the heavier part of the haircut. So we go just behind that high point of the head. Now, from there, we're going to take that section and we're going to keep it at a little lower elevation. And what that does is it keeps us making sure that we're cutting through more of the density down here. If we automatically start this by going super high elevation, especially on these mid-lengths, what tends to happen is we get a lot of body here and then it drops off really quick and it looks kind of heavy and shelfy down here. You've probably seen that before. So to begin the haircut, we're going to start at that lower elevation, which allows us to cut through more of the density in the perimeter. We're going to use our 6 1/4 inch Sam Villa Artist Series shear. We want something really, really sharp with a lot of precision because we want to be able to cut through the hair very easily. So we elevate pretty much 90 degrees horizontal, and what we mean by 90 degrees horizontal is flat with the floor. And then we're going to use our finger angle to create an amplified effect of that layering. So we're trying to get out to the ends quickly, but get very short here in the top. You can see that existing guide from the opposite side. We went quite short with it. So strong diagonal finger angle, and then we cut out towards our perimeter. Keep that 90 degrees horizontal. There's my guide. Out there's the perimeter down here. And we can be this dramatic with the layering even on a finer haired guest in that center back. Now, so that we start to transition things around the head, as we take our next section, we will over direct back to the previously cut section. So by using a traveling guide like that and over directing back, it's going to start to give me a little bit more length as we move around the head shape. Keeping the section sizes about 1 inch width. What's important is that they stay the same width. So again, that 90 degrees horizontal elevation, flat with the floor. Over direct back to the previously cut section to start to preserve some length as we move forward. And then just find that guide and match my finger angle. And you see how dramatic that angle is, and that's again so that we can still layer pretty thoroughly through the back of the head, but also get out to our perimeter quite quickly. Follow that diagonal and cut through. So I'm just going to continue on with one more section. Take a guide piece from our previously cut section there. And now when I take this next section, you'll see I'm going to be right there where the hairline starts to change. Now we do not want to go past that point with this section. See how it goes right to that hairline, but not in front of it. So make sure that you stop there. If we go past there, then we definitely run the risk of taking away our density. So this will be the last section that's down here at 90 degrees horizontal. Over direct back, find my guide, and cut away. All right, so what that gives us back here is a really nice, very thoroughly layered shape through the back, and it doesn't break off and stop down here and give us that weighty feeling in the center back. So now here's where things have to change. If I continue that moving forward, you can imagine what's going to happen to the density here. I may even create a bit of a hole over top of the ear there. So what we'll do then is we will take the guide from the previously cut section, and the main thing that's going to change here is elevation. So by increasing the elevation significantly, now we are going to preserve more density in the perimeter. So as we take this section, grab our guide, and now we're going to elevate 90 degrees vertical, and that's straight up towards the ceiling, so it's 90 degrees with the floor. So as we take that and we bring it straight up towards the ceiling, find our guide from our previously cut section, which is right there, and we stop. Now, here's the thing, you guys are thinking, oh, but isn't that going to create a disconnected area? No, it's going to create a detached area. Well, what's the difference? The difference is the mindset, friends. Of course, in hair school, we were all taught that everything has to blend, 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 touch, touch, touch. And it is an important principle to learn because it gave us our foundations, it gave us our techniques. Now it's time to start letting go of some of those things, but do it in a really intentional way. If I don't allow this to start to become detached from the back, I'm not going to be able to transition into the front and maintain density. So we're purposely allowing that perimeter to detach out and blending just to the top guide. I'm not worried about the guide at the back. And then again, amplify that level of layering through the shape by choosing a really strong diagonal finger angle so that as I get out to here, a lot of that density of the perimeter is falling out. So the sides and the back will match more. So as you can see, we maintained the density there on the perimeter. Now we'll continue forward just in vertical sections and over direct back to the previously cut section. Grab a little piece of my previously cut section for the guide. And then again, remember, we've changed our elevation. Now we're elevating 90 degrees vertical, straight up towards the ceiling. Over direct back to maintain a little bit more weight and density towards the face, and then cut that diagonal line. So again, take our next section. Now, if you do not want layers around the face, detach out the perimeter. If you want the layers around the face, then by all means, just continue on. There's our next section. From that side view, you'll be able to see the over direction back to the previously cut section. And we find that by taking the backbone of the comb, come right to the edge of the section, and then straight up. Find my guide from my previously cut section, and cut. I don't have much to cut here. I actually had done a different haircut on the doll head a little while ago, but she had just enough to be able to upcycle her to this next haircut. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just do a really simple blow dry so that you guys can see the finished result and how much more balanced the effect's going to be because of that change in elevation. Stay tuned, I'll be right back. All right, so here's our finished result, and just did a pretty basic blow dry, polished the ends up, gave it a little bit of a bevel with the paddle brush, just so you could really see it in as simple form as possible. I have done no refining, no retouching, anything like that. And you know what I really want you guys to focus on is how even the density is front to back. Sure, you can still maybe see a tiny bit more density through the perimeter on the back in relationship to the side, but you know, it's a much more balanced shape than if we would have done all highly elevated layers, or potentially doing low elevated layers and completely destroying any density we had through that side. So the next time you have that guest in your chair that does have that very fine hair, but she still wants a lot of body texture and movement, try this out. We think you're going to love it. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the box below. We love to hear from you guys. Thanks again. Andrew Carruthers, Education Director for Sam Via.